Friends, welcome to my workplace at Ranaghat, West Bengal, India. This is an intermittent cataract. I had some problems during capsular access. Let us observe this surgery. By this time the main incision has been made, and now a side port is being made on the left side of the main incision, and then an air bubble is injected into the anterior chamber. Underneath this air bubble, trypan blue 0.06% dye is applied over the anterior capsule. The dye has been applied uniformly. Immediately afterwards, the antechamber is irrigated with BSS, and then 2% hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose is injected in the anterior chamber. The antechamber has been filled up only by SPMC and no other viscoelastic substance. Now this is another small side port on the right side at around 8 o'clock. And now see the C-flap. Incise the capsule and make a C-flap. There are some studies which indicate that this C-flap prevents Argentine flag sign. And now this C is converted into a small rhexis, and then through this small opening some cortical lens matter is aspirated with the help of a 23G Simcoe. You can use any other instrument like bimanual irrigation aspiration or even coaxial IA. Just aspirate some cortical matter and the intralenticular pressure will get reduced drastically. Again, visco has been injected. In this case there are some air bubbles in the syringe, and so there are a lot of air bubbles in the anterior chamber. I have made a nick at the margin of the small rhexis, and now to improve visibility I must remove these air bubbles. So the air bubbles are being replaced by visco, that is SPMC, but some small air bubbles are still remaining in the anterior chamber. But this will not decrease visibility, and now the rhexis is being enlarged. But see what happens here. Here I released it and I am trying to hold it again, and by this time a capsular tag is coming out, and I could see that, and before it went to dangerous level I pushed that tag inside the anterior chamber and tried to hold it, but I find that it is very difficult to hold, and retrieve the rhexis with Utrata. So what I am doing now is, first I am trimming the capsular tag so that it doesn't come out. If it comes out, the rhexis will run to more periphery and it will be very difficult to manage. So injected some visco. Now I am trying to retrieve this rhexis with the help of this needle. Let us see if it can be done or not. Yes, I have been able to bring it to safe area, and now I hold this capsular tag with Utrata and enlarge the rhexis. This has not been a circular rhexis because there are some extension just in front of the main incision. However, this is a continuous rhexis, and phaco can be done with a lot of confidence. And now let us start nucleus management. You can see that the nucleus is quite hard. It is about grade 4 nuclear sclerosis. So I am trying my technique, which I called submarine chop. The tip is buried into the substance of the nucleus, goes through the nucleus towards the opposite equator, making a deep trench, and then I chop it. And now I rotate it 180 degree, hold on heminucleus and separate the two heminuclei completely. And now each heminucleus is again subdivided into two halves. This is the other heminucleus. The tip goes into the substance, holds the heminucleus firmly and divides it. Now each nuclear fragment is tilted, and I start emulsifying each fragment from its apex. This apex, if it goes towards the posterior capsule, it will give pressure on a small area, and if the apex is very sharp and if the nucleus is very hard, there is a possibility of posterior capsular rent. So I tilt the fragments and start emulsifying these fragments from its apex. If you make this habit of starting emulsification from the apex, you will have lot of good feeling in your heart that PC rent will not occur, but still it can occur at any time. This is the last few bits of the nucleus. Yes, I'm waiting. Yes, it has come to the teeth, and now you can see some cortical matter. 2% HPMC is injected, and now I'm going to use a 23G Simcoe to remove the cortical matter. You can use whatever instrument you are comfortable. You can use bimanual, you can use coaxial, or if you are a very expert surgeon like my friend Dr. Netrajyoti, you can remove the cortical matter by the phaco handpiece itself. And the cortical cleanup is in progress. Yes, it has been cleaned nicely. And now 2% hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose is being injected into the anterior chamber, and then a foldable monofocal single piece intraocular lens is being implanted in the capsular bag. Here goes the lens. This is a hydrophobic acrylic lens. The lens has gone into the capsular bag. Dial the lens and place the haptics 90 degrees away from the main incision. And now the visco has to be cleaned very thoroughly. I am irrigating the anterior chamber, and then the capsular bag. Yes, unless we irrigate the capsular bag, lot of visco remains behind the IOL, and this can give rise to a raised IOP in the post-op period. So we must remove visco not only from anterior chamber but from the capsular bag, also from behind the IOL. Yes, visco has been cleaned nicely, and now this is a bit of moxifloxacin. Now the side ports are closed by corneal stromal hydration. Corneal stroma on either side of these stab wounds are hydrated, stroma becomes thick, and these openings close. And now a final lavage of the anterior chamber is done. I do this to prevent TAS. Pure BSS remains in the anterior chamber at the conclusion of surgery. And now the integrity of the wounds are checked. Few drops of moxie is applied over the ocular surface, and the case is concluded. Thank you very much for your attention. Hope this video will help you in developing your surgical skills. Be a great surgeon and serve your patients with love, respect, empathy, and great surgical competence.